Okie dokie, welcome to another episode of the Tempest Rising podcast. Apparently, it is National Self-Care Week this week. Nowadays, we literally have a week for everything, but I think this serves as a good opportunity to bring your attention to the importance of self-care. Now, for me, self-care is about taking the time to look after yourself to avoid burnout and other stress-related illnesses. And it's also about committing to your own growth as a person. If you take care of something, it'll grow. And the same can be said for you. Now, most people these days do have some form of self-care. We're more aware as a society of the importance of looking after ourselves. But usually this has something to do with the body. So you have people that are drinking more water, they're exercising regularly, they're eating healthily, they're taking vitamins and all that kind of stuff, which is amazing. You know, you should never underestimate the importance of taking care of your body. But the thing is, you can be the most health conscious person in the world, but if you're not dealing with the internal stuff, then none of that stuff matters. It's long been known that the internal world affects the external world, but nowadays with our ability to share information so easily, it's becoming more well known. And we understand now that the gut interacts with the brain. We understand the role of the vagus nerve and how it's affected by stress and emotions. We even know that the heart affects coherence with the mind. It's amazing because everything inside of you is interconnected more than you even realize. We are truly symbiotic creatures, and everything in your body plays its part, and it all needs to be in harmony: your mind, your emotions, your body. If something gets out of sync, then the balance shifts and the equilibrium is lost. Now, epigenetics has become an emerging science. Realistically, it's been studied for years, but it's becoming more well known now. And it's the study of genetic expression and how certain genes can be switched on or off depending on how you live. We're hearing about it more often nowadays because people are considering how we live as a whole. We're looking at things from a holistic perspective and how all of these things combined influence our level of health, not just our physical activities and what we're eating. It's a complete package. Now, everybody knows that we have the potential for certain diseases. Whether we develop those is dependent on the expression of our genes, whether we switch them on or off through how we live. And it's the idea of nature versus nurture. But the exciting thing is that we could potentially combine hundreds of thousands of gene combinations to eradicate all of these bad things, meaning that there could one day be cures for all kinds of human ailments, diseases, including things like delaying aging. We could have cures for cancer. It's really fascinating, and it is a little bit out there. Not so much nowadays, but when these theories first started coming out, they were thought to be a little bit out there. But there's more and more studies emerging to show that there is real weight behind these ideas, that although we may be predisposed to certain characteristics, we do have the power to change them through the way we live our lives. Now, it's not to say that everybody who gets ill is ill through their own volition. That's way too simplistic and ignorant a statement. But the point is that people are starting to realize the power of your internal world and the importance of taking care of your mind and your emotions as well as your body. It's that age-old quadrant of your mind, your body, your heart, and your soul, all of which are worked on inside of the Project Tempest program. Because balance is required to live an optimal life. And the only way to get this balance is to train as a 4-dimensional human being rather than a 1 or 2, which is where most people are at today. So as a call to action today, I want you to grab a piece of paper, divide it into 4, so draw a quadrant, and then in each section give it heading. So mind in one section, body in another, heart in another, and soul in another. And then give each area a rating out of 10 based on how well you feel that you're doing with training these areas. So if you're doing nothing in a particular area, you'd give it a 0. If you had some awareness that you would like to do something, you could give it a 1 or a 2. And if it's something you take care of daily, then obviously you're going to be pushing 7, 8s, maybe even 9s. And then have a look at it and see what's falling short. For most people, they'll be lacking in some kind of emotional training and probably mental training. As I said earlier, most people do have the physical stuff sorted, but it tends to be the other areas that they're missing. So have a little look, see where your shortfalls are. And that's pretty much it for today. There's going to be a short piece coming out on Friday carrying on the theme of self-care and why it's not selfish, but it's a necessity. And there's also some pre-Christmas goal setting stuff gone up inside of our group. So if you want to follow us, I'm going to put the link in the comments in a minute, and you can join us in there to make the most of that. Other than that, I will be back next week. So from me and Mr. Chonk here, have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Say bye, Chasey. No?